Chief Justice Yamame Tokono Anasabri Nihwake Musa Sisi no ankasa and confess say Binyanga Kruwawi say the case between a parliament and the Supreme Court are on that Supreme Court and no Binya kasa kru anayde apaniti so twa no hoko na sisi no formation by say Supreme Court na kasa ya agi atuma ahu say emfa won say akofado na employer mo amama appointment at the Supreme Court no he say no matna sia say some man hwe akofado at the various institution including the court be go down be go for am Mr. Man for the dominim between from omunje omundi bi banisa na chese afinyo marking a ono dream card case niko because formation by chese in chobe minority leader guy parliament business no near because of parliament on head beam enkusi ni su beam all this case niko no ebe bonus me crampa de ዔroublé aya higher for 1G unsubscribe here but more than so bad obe subscribe ama higher na information nyina de ewo men ko baby atna ha unsake bi esese one like ya share ama nua so yede insake bi eso we dey feeling chimne kade won chemen Kesi ya beto Ghana ama Ghana ye obi de ekebi no lawyers ekukudam babonti nsemu. A lot of lawyers the etai abambabi and ANDC for the echi. Didn't see because we first of all previous to parliament. You are Michael Queen Nana a speaker. Dina NPP. A court NPP ankasa because not from na MP no NPP and no order for independence. See I'm NPP for the eligibility because he declared sitting vacant. And see there I asked for floor. As a speaker in the Supreme Court in various institutions, including the AC, see information by say on the moment N.Addo because I put to be braba and moment is so much NPP I for the name no on the every institution no Ghana for a losing interest in them about Sanchez democracy no so no and hoyaka because I could see assassin but after that no Kumasi market women forces I react to this case but first of all indicate criticize way.
They make mistakes daily. Do you remember they said birth certificates could not determine whether or not you are a Ghanaian? Would even a secondary school student behave like that?
I mean, in the same vein, just like an ordinary constitutional law student will know that Supreme Court can just out of the blue, out of the vacuum, interfere in parliamentary business.
Look, listen to the funny aspect of this case. And yeah, I also blame the NGs as well. You know why I blame them?
But you always blame.
You know, because for me, you have a very good case. What was the business of N.Addo going on the campaign floor, platform to announce that you were going to do this to the opposition? What was it?
Political demagoguery, obviously.
That is all strategic, and it really gives me a different view about him. You know why? For him to have said that, Afeno went to court ahead of the parliament. Is that not it? What was the case he took to court?
Interpretation.
How did he know that Speaker Bagbin was going to rule in a certain way, for which reason he went to court? So it means the very case that he took to court would have even would change based on the ruling of the speaker. But he did that because someone went on the platform and said that Tuesday we are going to move the motion. You have your leader of parliament, but minority leader. He's supposed to spearhead some of these things.
Yeah.
So why was the rush? Can you imagine if this thing was sprung to them as a surprise on Tuesday?
There'll be no time.
Now you'll be thinking about when to go and file.
There'll be no time.
You understand? So for me, they have a very good case. Then majority of Ghanaians know the in and out of it. They can see red from black, because they know that this is politically arranged. The Supreme Court is behaving politically, sided with one political party. But they should have, the party should have been tactical enough. I believe it was totally needless, and that if there is any rancor, it was because someone gave the hint on the platform, and they prepared. And that is why politics is an expensive enterprise. Sometimes the way a lot of people think, So me, I don't trust. When I go to meeting, I look at people's faces. I say, this man, see the way he's laughing here. He's recording. You go and even tell the other side. Are you with me? And I'm telling you, these are serious matters. I'm telling you, I'll be joking about it, but I'm telling you that for him to have done that was not strategic enough. But coming back, you understand? Yes, he's a lawyer. You know when you go on an ex parte motion or application, the worst the judge could do is to grant that stay of 10 days. I have done so before. But what from these consequential orders? You have granted the stay. Now you are telling, instructing Parliament that based on they don't, as it were, actualize your position. For what? You can stay there for the 10 days. Yes, after the 10 days, if nothing happens, they'll carry on with it. Because if you mean business, if you really mean business, within the 10 days, you can do your things right for us to go and argue this matter in court. That's all. Now you have stayed the decision in perpetuity from where I sit. You understand? Because of the political nature, because the minority will become majority, majority will be minority, and in their own view, certain bills will not go through, then let's stay it in perpetuity. What happened yesterday? What was wrong with it? What was wrong with it? I believe that our Supreme Court must, encourage the people of this country to trust them. And that if you are going to follow President Kufuor together with this NPP, they will go down with you. They are going down with a lot of institutions. See the way the Electoral Commission did, every statement they issue. At the end of the day, they say trust our integrity. Why must you always tell us that you must trust your integrity? But you yourself believe that we don't trust you. I read somewhere that the Chief Justice was saying in church that she wished
this should pass her by.
Why would she say that? Because she knows that there has been a lot of backlash.
Abusiafo we dey ankase asuma ya tinsema hodo a yenia echichirimuji amewose. Sisi na wose Supreme Court no e civil institution at the Ghana for GM dada no e make sure say democracy no e kuyi nieme kuyi no more right and freedom so no more benefit wase no. Sisi no information be say ahwa omo de NPP bibia beto nchen emfa won say president Akufo na employer mo no on beto nchen eti the constitution na amomoda privilege just somebody wo da office no on betie no numum no de NPP ni sa ne mana to nchen ba ne sa so a afunyuma kintikika yeden the case ni beto baby ama NDC for just some minority leader bibi atwa no o be majority led by to force ya just a case no so de aba yen fe ni nchi ni nkoti pin kan Kumasi market women for catching NPP for say making sure say the way of the constitutional democracy ni be adwuma making sure say bamba be ruling no enye adwuma ko nim politics nim be but kika we che NPP for just say say am strong better acquire campaign or inconclusive information so.
Saturday I was in Kumasi. The market women that do not even understand the legal as it were operations. They were talking about this matter at Kenya when we were doing our work. That is say they almost say the N.Addo and then the come. These are the words on the street. And when you have society beginning to say judges are not truthful, it's dangerous because I go to court a lot. You understand? It may not be the situation, but because of the political nature, everything has been turned into politics in this country, and the Supreme Court is also feeding into it. It's not good for us. So for me, you ask yourself that simple question: Speaker Bagbin, did he have that right to declare a seat vacant? Yes, it is within their standing orders.
Yeah.
You understand? And what he did, does it conform to the constitution? As you realize, Article 97G.
Yeah.
It's so clear. But if you are telling that it's not for this present parliament and then the next parliament, by the next parliament, the man has told you that he's going as an independent candidate. What would you do to him in the next parliament? That he decided to go as an independent in 2025 parliament, so his seat has to be declared vacant.
I mean, the constitution also did not say that this very provision applies to prospective decisions or prospective
yes
plans.
So and especially when we have a president only last 4 years. Only last 4 years we had it. Nobody spoke about it. Nobody cried about it. And by the way, the lawyers that went to court, I understand one of their release was that the constituents were not going to have representation. And so they were there to protect the right of these MPs. Were they engaged by these MPs or something? What about sir?
For 4 years.
Jachi question. He had to be barred from entering parliament. Why are we doing this? You know, sometimes when you wake up and realize that we are undeveloped, this is because of some of these things. I'm so sad for this country.
Yeah, I agree.
Adults must behave as adults. Anyway, I'll end it here. Maybe a doctor has a different dimension.
Right, a doctor definitely has a lot of things. Yeah.
Look, I was campaign coordinator for the NDC in 2008. On, I think, the 1st of January, New Year's Day, holiday, the NPP went for an ex-party application to stay the issues with regard to time. You remember? We heard about it and we appeared in the court. Then we told the judge, well, we are here. We were not invited, but that is in, we are party to it. And the judge just said, I will not grant any injunction. I will stay it till, I think it was the 8th or the this of January, which means the election is over. But he didn't, he just said, I will stay it because I want to hear the case properly. In effect, he left it. That was a sensible judge. Don't touch it at that stage. Excuse me to say, I'm not saying anybody is not sensible. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that decision was a sensible decision. Leave it. You are dealing with a parliament. Why touch it? They made their decision on the matter. And the fact is that if you look at the wording and the arguments that were put forward by the speaker, you ask yourself what was so difficult about what the speaker did. And they even waited. They could have started raising this thing from before. They waited for the EC to declare people's positions. And then you look at the argument coming from the NPP side that this doesn't affect the current parliament. It's for future. I mean.
But it wasn't really an issue when Sal was deprived of representation for 4 years.
This is why I'm saying that the position is very volatile. The Supreme Court should not have made any decision on that matter that day. They should have just adjourned it. And I'm not talking of procedure without going into any merits.
Yeah.
They should just have adjourned the matter till today. Call all the parties, including interested parties, including even the EC. Because there are issues. It's about election. You don't have to call it, but the NDC is directly involved. You see, when the majority changes, the last few laws that have to be passed have to be, the paper that is brought before Parliament is run by the majority side. You understand?
Yeah.
So there are even implications for what happens, the other paper,
Yeah.
and how it goes about when you have majority and minority. As a result of that, it becomes imperative that there are a lot of interested parties. Maybe I stretch it if I push it to the EC, but the NDC. But even if they don't bring the NDC, the person most affected in this is the EC.
Yeah.
And is the Parliament of Ghana. And I cannot see how the Parliament of Ghana, an ex-party application is granted against them and they are not present. And it's not going to affect anything. If you are given it 48 hours, even 72 hours, and say, look, why? When the majority, the then majority, who are now minority, the NPP, decided that they were unhappy, they walked out. So technically, you have a parliament that people have walked out. Fine. Put the hearing to Monday. Short notice, everybody will prepare their papers. Serve this person, serve that person. You come on Monday, haven't had enough time, we'll hear on Tuesday. Parliament will adjourn to the Wednesday. Hear what they have to say on the issue. And the days they are giving, 7 days for this, 7 days for, why? 7-7 why? A court that can say that a defendant must be in court every day, even when the person you know how to rush things when it's necessary. Why? It's the case is not complicated. 7 days, 48 hours come, 48 hours, even 24 hours, because it's an important matter. 24 hours, go and do your paperwork. You are lawyers. Yes, we understand it. You don't sleep. You type paper, you put this, you all sit down at the table, you argue, you go and present to the judges. Why did they do this? So now you have a constitutional crisis, and the courts are not in it. Because you see, Parliament has its own laws and its own granted to it by the Constitution. They have applied a power given to them by the Constitution. And people are now going to try and possibly interpret that power doesn't exist. At this point. And there has been precedent. You see, that's and the arguments that it was never challenged when Michael Okoye did it. You see, that is not even for me, Michael Okoye is the second leg. The first leg is that the 1979 Constitution had a clause like that. It was wishy-washy. It gave too much space. So when it had a matter that came into the court, and the court ruled some way. When they were doing 1992 Constitution, you could see that they looked at the thing, and they amended that Constitution to make it very clear what is required. In that Constitution, at no point do they say that it is effective on this time. Why? The thing is now, the Parliament is sitting now. It's not like we are doing a new constituency or where there's conflicting. No, it's clear. This is the sitting Parliament. If you are in this position, you are no longer a member of Parliament. The Speaker has applied it. He has waited for there to be a notice of poll. The notice of poll is an official document that says where you are. And you have decided that I'm here. I'm no longer here. How can you sit in Parliament on that? It is so obvious that it becomes worrying that you, and now I'm going to marry, so I'll leave that. Let me get into rather the process and the procedure. It is a slap in the face of Parliament. You don't do this. They have no business. Let me couch my words properly.
Cases free our legal expert for the air batches or much change we who say NDC4 case. NDC4 case just some to be beer a bedroom case not to Constitution as stating clear. Almost stating clear. We here interpretation be no must stating clear. Say a basa in declare sitting vacant. A Bagbin a lawyer penny or say a speaker of Parliament or any packet one. How come say Supreme Court a be chasing ruling? Why? So Supreme Court beat my ruling, seeing for being quoted to 30 years. Omanya case, omanya fact, omanya evidence, omanya BBR. Nom ruling about say ABR. Asimesi, yen fanen koshim. ABR 20 years or 30 years. Now Bagbin in the Parliament as regional say they be. When a man first sign pakona go to this a motion may do Parliament and sana mo design panakotum. Nti munja ni panon kofi. How? And no beyond the speaker. As if the speaker any powers in Ghana. Must check and balances here the year juma. Now so the Constitution can de na can. A Bagbin ruling no the buy no. One Bambi general case may declare a 4-seat vacant. Me a Bagbin may declare 4-seat vacant. O stating neman kakran chichi with the Constitution. Or kasa nyina or kasa with law. A chichi mwa bisi ama munyina mati asiye. Say the whole Parliament mati ampa Constitution ide aka. Constitution aka afenye marking se masore mdi ascend court. It's not like say oh challenge the constitution no. Say constitution and cast an article say the same grandpa say there be. As some no I cannot see you but the court in your thing. Court no omo constitution kwana. Nti as I speak no, uti sema yini editu jawache say the way na MSC kono court encho money beda o omo ma Akufo-Addo led NPP no ma court ni other institution IEC crampo kan no and say every institution because the moment e beba sa no be ma manfo no mo ase on ye the NG institution in the Indi e ba na sa penasi democracy no so ye the ekofom and no na atiesi mo market women for ni mo no as you see no mo cheche mu say niama na koso parliament a Supreme Court atiesi no e be ya mo makwan ma aya bamba binye na dwuma NPP fu njina nchen Akufo-Addo njina nchen Supreme Court njina nchen na bamba be ruling na wode to jan e fanye na dwuma we some market women for the eka na prepare the encos because no one is above the law. Baby train Michael Quay it is the same ruling by. Now they say funny pan say the same from na MP no so den e can be. From na MP na this case no by BSc dano. No MPP mo ko independent na. And then the same from na MP case ni be was case we be mo. Of independent say ko MPP. Then you should ruling another constitution ka plus Michael Quay ruling na o se dey be when yan sa. Baby atwem the constitution ye adwuma na let the constitution ye adwuma sem bibi na ba che bit match adwen ho we niema koso ne niema ABC comment section there subscribe na share my news say the insan ke bi 100% musi Akroma.